Everybody, Jerome Wright here, and once again you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be doing almost like, I guess, like a sequel or second part to the video release I made last week. I don't know why every time I go to talking or doing a video, my voice seems to be leaving me for whatever reason. But anyway, I'm going to clear my throat. Excuse me for that. I don't like doing that, but for whatever reason, as soon as I start communicating in these videos, I guess my voice gets clouded here. But anyway, here we are. We're dealing with, this is a 1932 video release, and this is called The Mummy. And this is the image from that of the mummy. Now this is a, like I said, I was about ready to say before I got sidetracked about my voice here, is that the Shroud of Turin, I released a video last week. And I tied the Shroud of Turin to that of the a 1931 release movie of the Frankenstein. And I cleverly tied it together as to how the Frankenstein 1931 Frankenstein movie release was related to that of the Shroud of Turin and the way that it was created, of the body of Christ being wrapped. And some type of way, some type of high voltage of electricity is what calls for that image to be x-rayed into the cloth. So you have to see that video if you didn't see it. However, and how now that was a 1931 release. Okay, now I'm gonna make a series of connections here. Okay, with that Frankenstein movie, the Shroud of Turin, with the writer of the movie Frankenstein, and also with the same writer that done the Mummy writing, the writing for the Mummy movie, which came out in 1932, a year later, and which also was a blockbuster hit back for that time. So you have two releases back to back, one in 1931 and one in 1932, and they both were done by the same writer, which was John L. Balderston. That's Balderston, and he did two amazing monster-like movies back to back. 1931 and 1932. The first one, which was the Frankenstein, I tied to the Shroud of Turin. See that video? I released it a week ago, and it's on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel. Now, I'm back again because in the first video, I was discussing about how on the second half of the Shroud of Turin, it's supposed to be the backside. But however, the backside is not showing the backside of the Christ image. The backside of this Shroud of Turin is actually showing what I described as being a mummy. A mummy with his hands crossed over, identical to what you see here. And I described it as being that almost like an Egyptian mummy. That's what I discussed in my first video. Now, when I was making that discussion, I had no idea that the writer of the movie, this John L. Balderston, I had no idea that he released a second movie about a mummy. So there's a connection here because I tied the movie Frankenstein, the 1931 movie Frankenstein, and how that movie was created. And actually in there, I related to the Frankenstein as how it was discussing death, resurrection, being crucified by people after the fact, and the way Frankenstein was, the whole plot of that movie is identical pretty much to that of the way Christ was crucified, and the wrapping of the body. All of that stuff actually lends hand in glove in what I was discussing with the Christ scenario and with the Frankenstein movie, the plot of the movie. Now, here I am again now back in this, because the guy that is on the second half of the cloth that I told you was a mummy is identical to this guy, which was by, the writings in this movie was by Balderston, the same exact writer. And we have another plot. Now I'm gonna have to take you to the Shroud of Turin. In the negative image of the Shroud of Turin, Shroud of Turin. Let me show you how this is a negative image of the Shroud of Turin. And this is supposed to be the likeness of Christ. And there's the body of Christ. Now on the second half of it, now I had to blow it up because, you can actually Google it for yourself, and the negative image of the Shroud of Turin, or the Shroud of Turin, and this will come up. But on the second half, if you remember in my first video, where we at here? I gotta get this guy. I'm looking at this backwards. Here you go, right here. There's my pencil all the way over here. On the second half, I'm gonna bring it up on my screen. On the second half of the Shroud of Turin, this is a blowed up image. This is where I'm backing off. This is where the back cavities, the shoulder blades, would be for the reverse side of where the Turin is, where the Christ image is. So this area here is supposed to be the back of Christ's head right here. However, if you go into the negative, you will see that there is a face here in this location. There's a chin. I described it. Go to my other video. I described this as being a chin. Crusty like lips. Like if a person was dehydrated, didn't have water. Crusty lips. There was a wide nose. Look, this is what I did. Look how wide this nose is. A very distinct nose. There's an eye. And the other eye would be over here. There's a face there. What's amazing about all of this is that this, and then the guy, I described this as being a chest cavity, and the arm coming up, going off to the side, coming up and touching his shoulder. And I described it as this arm coming over and the hand coming over and touching his shoulder. Like the same identical way that is done here. Now, this face is very distinct. Look at the wide nose. Look at the face of a mummy. Look at this. This is what this is describing. So why does that face, and look, the dried, the dehydrated lips, the cracking, all of this here is eerily very similar to this guy that I described here. And this would be the shoulders coming out, by the way, here, people, off on to either end. Okay? Now, this is supposed to be the backside of the Shroud of Turin image of the Christ image. This is supposed to be the reverse, but it's not. It's showing an image of a mummy. So the reverse side of this is showing the image of what is being portrayed here. And this is what I described in my video. Now, it's crazy because in that video, I described that image, the second half of the image, as being a mummy and being Egyptian-like, which is everything that is actually described here. Now, what's really, really remarkable about all of this is that the first person, because I made the connection with the Frankenstein, with the Shroud of Turin, the same writer. It's the same exact writer that took the plot from the first side of the Shroud of Turin, which I described as being with Christ and the way the Shroud of Turin was created, to the second half, which is the mummy side. So this guy made two blockbuster movies and writings off of something that was factual, actual. Alright, I'm going to go to what else I have here. I hate when this does this. I'm going on another screen. This is supposed to be my way of saving money here instead of doing copies. But I'm going to have to probably get a better computer here on this other second screen. Alright, that is the image there. Okay, it's just smaller. Okay, now let me keep going. Okay, that's the image. That's that there again. Let me keep going. Okay, here's the image of the Shroud of Turin here, side by side. Those two images that I just had. Now, here, right in there, if you Google the image, and if you go in here, there's a face. That face, people, you can probably see it better when you go into Google. It's right there. This face, where we at here? That face becomes more and more real and clear. Here you go. I'm gonna back up some right there so you can see it better. that wide nose, that chin, that mouth is right here. When you go in and look at it, people, you would see an eerily face that'll remind you of that mummy character that I just told you. And if you'll notice that the arm, this will be the left shoulder. I know that it would appear to be the right. I'm coming through on the screen, but this is actually the left shoulder coming around. There's the elbow, and it goes back up right there. There's the bend. There's the shoulder, the left shoulder. Here's the left arm, and then comes back up. The forearm comes back up, and the hand is right there. On the other side, this arm, the left arm, is actually covering the right arm. This is the way it's going, and the right arm comes down and does the same exact way and comes back up and comes to this side. The same exact way that you would see a pharaoh or a mummy arms being crossed over. The face is identical to that of what I just described, which was in this image here, right there. The only difference is that this arm, the right arm, is crossing over the left arm, and that on the Shroud of Turin image, the right arm, oh, this is the left arm. The left arm is on top, crossing over the top of the right arm. All right, I know you're seeing it backwards, but to me, this is the way that I'm seeing it. This is the left shoulder over here, but this arm would be over top of this one, and this is the way that the description is of the other on the cloth that I just showed you. So, oh, hold it. There's the Shroud of Turin there. Let me come back one more time. I'm probably going to put more in writing. Let me go back to this image. Oh, here you go. Here's the close-up here. Here's the close-up. I'm going to see if you can actually see what I see here. This is a close-up image. Now, it's distorted, but I don't know if you can see. No, you can't actually see the face. The face is actually distorted, and it's like a blur. But I can see it clearly. I'm going to go ahead and point it out. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can see it clearly. This is the left eye, there's the right eye, there's that wide nose, here's the cheeks on either side, there's those crusty lips right here, and then there's the chin. This would create, all of this here is where those arms are crossing in this area here. This is a shoulder coming down, and that's a shoulder coming down. And this is actually the back side of what is supposed to be the Christ image. Okay, now I don't know if you can see it, but Google the image and you'll be able to see it. Just go right here to where the back of the head of the Christ image is supposed to be, and you'll see that face, the nose, the mouth, the cheek, and the eye sockets. All of that is right there. Okay, now I'm going to keep going. There's the Shroud of Turin laid out. This is the color. I think this is another sequel to it. Now, what's crazy about this? Now, this is oh gosh, I forget his name. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder playing in one of the Frankenstein movies. You know what's amazing about this? I want to make this connection. Is that you got to reason in your mind that I made the connection of the Shroud of Turin to the Frankenstein movies, and now here's Gene Wilder. Look at Gene Wilder. You put a beard on this guy, and this guy becomes the young image, those Renaissance paintings of Christ. Look at him. From the wild hair coming out, the mustache, you put a beard on this guy, and this guy can play a character of Christ. Look at him. He is the hallmark for the Renaissance images of the Christ image. That's another connection that I've made, which is remarkable to this. Because how can I just come out with the Shroud of Turin being created through high voltage and electricity, and then here you have a Christ-like image hooked to a contraption that charges electricity. He's a mad doctor, a scientist, a baron, give you, related to ancient royalty, and he's experimenting with death and resurrection. digging up bodies and bringing them back to life, sawing their arms off and everything. This is all being described by that. Now in this part of the movie, Wilder is actually supposed to be taking his brain and giving it to the Frankenstein, and vice versa, and the Frankenstein's brain to his. Now, what's amazing about this is you see that helmet contraction here with the wires. You can almost imagine in this negative of the Christ-like image of that contraction being here on Christ's head, and these being some sort of, these looking like antennae, being wire, which is actually transmitting voltage down to that body, which was wrapped in the cloth. Look at this face here, and look at the Gene Wilder image there. Look at that, people. I wish I can do a side by side for you, but I guess I can slide it over. There's the Christ image. There's the Gene Wilder image. Look at that. Look at these connections that I'm making from a single connection, finding that the Shroud of Turin was created through voltages of electricity. Again, you have his little Igor looking character over here, and the Igor character has the face of a jester representing royalty. That gesturing type posture in his face representing royalty, the queen's jester, the king's jester. Then the hoodie over the head, which represents religion, monk, nuns. You get it, people. You see what's happening here. They're in a castle. This whole scenario is relating to that. And then I described in my other video on how these strap marks can almost be realized here as being on the body in certain areas of the Shroud of Turin as going across. All of these connections are being made, and how Hollywood has taken it and turned it into a movie for you. Now, again, here is the Frankenstein here that's strapped in, and these strap marks can almost be realized on that of which is in the on the Shroud of Turin, the way these strap marks is. And this is how people, I am claiming, I wonder if I put the one in here where he was actually raised through. This is actually the movie from the Bride of Frankenstein. And she's moving across, gliding across the floor here, the Bride of Frankenstein. But what's amazing is that there are here's another connection to religion. If you notice here, there's an angel right here, an angel statuette, has wings on its back. And you notice that the way this angel is kind of posturing going forward, it almost mimics that of this creature here, this Bride of Frankenstein creature, to what the arms bent up and the way that it's moving. It's almost suggesting that she is an angel. The clothing and all. Look at this. The way the hair comes up creates the wings on the head. It almost, it's the message is eerily, it's like parallel, because the wings, the way her hair is, this gives her hair wings on either side, the way they have it colored in. The clothing, the white clothing, and then the body posturing are identical. The way the leg is coming forward, this knee is coming forward, the clothing down, the same exact thing here. Knee coming forward, there's the wings, and the way the arms are bent, they're identical. These images are identical. It's like this subliminal message in these scenes that sends this hidden message to those that know. Alright, let me keep going. Here, this is what we would imagine Frankenstein's, in some of the images, if you Google it, Frankenstein's body sent up to the top of the castle, up into the rooftop of the castle, and there's these electrodes and everything going into Frankenstein's bodies, and these lightning rods, and the lightning hits Frankenstein's body. Now imagine this being the Shroud of Turin. You see this blanket right here on this doctor's examining table here. Just imagine Frankenstein's body, or Christ's body, turned up in the upwards position, and this lightning is hitting that, and as it hits that, there is this picture taking. This X-ray is taking. Lightning, the high voltage, creates this X-ray, and whatever is wrapped in the cloth of this of the body that's laying on here, there is a photogenic image created from this chemistry of the lightning, the cloth wrapped around, the electrodes, all of this, and a picture is taken inside in like a dark room scenario. And that, people, is how that Shroud of Turin was created. And this is how I'm able to tie the Frankenstein movie with Gene Wilder and his Christ ass looking image there. All of these images, the entire scenario, this is why these pieces fit together so hand in glove like a puzzle. This is what this is all about. Okay, here's the Frankenstein image being crucified by the people the same way that Christ was actually crucified, in the same fashion and form. Look at that there. The Frankenstein hung up, people just going at him. Look at this, reminiscent, eerily reminiscent of the Christ scenario, or what is written in it. Here's a black and white image of the Frankenstein. And it even says it up there, Frankenstein hugs Jesus. Look at this. This is just I don't know where this came from or where this idea came from, but the concept. But I made the connection of the Frankenstein movie to the Shroud of Turin. And then when you start searching, you start finding things like this that brings Frankenstein in picture with that of Christ and on the cross. The same exact way. Here's an image of another one, with a subliminal message in it to it. There's Christ back here on the cross, back here. Here's Frankenstein pushing over a bishop. So now, but hold on now, people, because I made the connection in my first video where you're talking about ancient rooted religion right here. There's Christ on the cross, and then ancient rooted royalty, which is described as a bishop, a king, bishop, queen. This is what this is all discussing. Everything that I gave to you in my first video, and I'm discussing now about ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty, having these keys to do these genetic bridgings and alterings. And here we have a scene that projects exactly what I'm discussing. Coincidence? No. This is reality, people. This is what's going on. And we're back at the Shroud of Turin here again. And again, I'm telling you, Google the image, the negative image, and you see the face in there that is identical to that of that character of the mummy. Let me see what else I have here before I go on. I'm probably going to put some more. Here's that mummy face coming up again. I'm going to see if I can come in closer to give you that mummy face now, because I do have a few more minutes here. I'm going to see if I can come in. I know that it's coming screen to screen. You probably, well, yeah, you can probably see it some there, because I can see the blur of it. But at my pencil tip is the lips, the crusty lips. You can see the lines, the broken lines in the lips right there. Here's the mouth right here. That wide nose is here. I'm going to go around the body of the nose, or off to the sides, coming up. The nose, the bridge of the nose is right there. Here's the wide part of the nose. Here's the left eye socket. There's the right eye socket. And the face is in this area right there. Right there. Now, when you Google it, that's what you look for. Now, I think that's it, people. I'm going to put a little bit more in writing. I'll put a little bit more in writing. I guess I got to back out some here now. Yeah. You'll be able to see it if you Google it. I mean, Google these images that I'm actually telling you to, and you'll actually be able to see it better. But it's my position that the Shroud of Turin was created, and it's through the laws of physics is on my side with this, is that it was created via high voltage electricity, and a image was taken based on the body that was in this cloth wrapped, presumably Christ, and there were electrodes placed on this body, and which is corroborated by, there seems to be that helmet-like thing here on the Christ image and the antennae, okay, where there was electricity shot into this body, and as a result of that, through the high voltage of electricity, what happened is there was this X-rayed image taken, the first X-rayed image that was possibly ever taken, and this is how the X-ray images was actually created or discovered. Now, the reason why it has always been a mystery is because they say back in the day where religion, ancient root of religion and royalty, when they used to make amazing discoveries like this, they would not take and share them with the people or with science. They would take it and use it as some type of spiritual aspect, as a leveraging tool to keep a sustained control over the people. Look at this miracle. This is Christ. Look what Christ is able to do. He comes back on a cloth just for you. This type of thing is what kept us in the dark. But this is why science could not figure out why and how that image got up on that cloth, is because you know why? It happened through a supernatural energy that was generated through lightning. This is bringing you inside the X-rayed image in a way that a person, a scientist, or a reasonably rationalized minded person would not be able to realize that this is how that cross was created, because you would not think that that type of technology or anything of this magnitude would have been possible back during that time, because we looked at them as being so prehistoric and this being too far advanced for anybody to realize. But this is something that could have happened by accident or by purpose. Nails, all you need is a ground and a lightning rod, and we have it. Voila, an image was produced, an X-rated image, and they turn it into some type of miraculous thing for the people, and this is what we have here today. But amazingly, I'm back here to show you that there is a Hollywood blockbuster. And again, people, the name of this writer was John L. Balderston. And this Balderston character took two scenarios from the cloth, the Shroud of Turin. The front side, he made Frankenstein off of. He created Frankenstein off this scenario here, and off the second side, which is supposed to be the back side, this guy had knowledge, I'm claiming, Balderston, he created his movie, the blockbuster, The Mummy. Okay, and I should be about out of time here. And another thing is that Balderston is supposed to be an American or a U.S. I guess born person. Okay, however, he has connections abroad, and it's my position that his family name Balderston is linking that of ancient rooted religion. Ancient rooted royalty. If you Google his name can be pronounced and described about 7 different ways, and all 7 to 8 different ways is related to ancient royal families. People that have this type of knowledge. Where are we at now? We're 28. People that have this knowledge, this ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty knowledge. And this is how you can tie movies, famous artists, people with these that's making the discoveries with everything, people with inventions. These people have roots to where this information originated from, and this is how they bring it back to us. Dollar for dollar, make you pay for and for knowledge that is catering to your mind. They have the key to catering to your mind with this nonsense. My name is Jerome Wright. I'm going to end my video there, and I'm going to try to put a little bit more in writing while I upload this. All right, thank you. We're going to stop.